Alrighty, everybody. 80105 here. Going to um give you my thoughts on the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale beta that was just released on the PSN. Um the reason why I'm doing a recording, even though I said I don't like doing recordings, is because I don't want to put actual gameplay footage, despite that would be really cool, because I don't want to get in trouble with Sony. I don't want them to have to go, yeah, you can't do that. But this, I'm just gonna tell you, this idea was probably thought up by a lot of early PlayStation fans back when the PS1 was big. Way back when, this idea was probably thought up then, and it's funny because to finally see it, and I also find this whole idea ironic because if you don't know the history, um, Nintendo was working in conjunction with Philips, and I think it was the late '90s when this was going on. Sony, Nintendo was working in connection with Philips to make a CD add-on or something to the Super Nintendo, and you got the Philips CDI out of that, and they were able to make three really bad Zelda games and Hotel Mario, which isn't famous, by the way, and YouTube poops. But they were also working with Sony on the same idea. And what came to that was the PlayStation. And while the PlayStation was made in connection with Nintendo, it wasn't actually Sony wasn't actually able to use their Nintendo characters. So essentially, what happened was they just made their own games from then on. And the ironic thing about this is, people for a long time have been what if Sony made their own Super Smash Bros? You could have Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, all the classic characters, really classic characters. Sir Daniel Forsyth, he's in there already, but the classic PlayStation characters fight together, fighting against each other in a game. I know my family thought of it. I don't know if everyone else did, but essentially, to see this game actually get made is actually it's really cool for a PlayStation diehard like myself to finally see this come true. Now, there are a few concerns I have with the game, and I'll get to them. But I'm just gonna say this: it is fun. The online is actually really good. If it's gonna stay like that, I hope it does. It is really good. There's plenty of attacks. The main thing that I really like about this game is the fact that the controls are just really solid. I mean, you got your block, you got your dodge, you got your air dodge, you got grabbing. Grabbing's a little weird, but it's still really it makes sense. It makes sense. Grabbing done with the right stick, so it really makes sense. Like, you want to throw them up, you hit up on the right stick. If you want to throw the guy behind you, you do the direction where the guy is. Um, it makes sense. Um, I went online as Sweet Tooth from the Twisted Metal series, and he is he's not the easiest character to use. He's not. Um, just saying, he's not easy to use at all. He's got he actually is essentially the Bowser of this game. Uh, he has to move around a lot. He can't stand still and win. There are characters that are actually like that, like Radek, Colonel Radek, from the Killzone series. I think it was from Killzone. I don't know. I don't know. I only played Killzone 3, which, by the way, I loved. But yeah, there are every character feels really unique from the characters I played. I played as Sweet Tooth, Radek, and Fat Princess. Fat Princess seems like in the right in the right hands, Fat Princess will be like god tier. But since this is just an open beta and everyone's just trying to win, there's not really enough time to. Oh, I also played as Pararappa to Rappa. There's not enough time to actually dissect the characters and their moves and get combos down and get it going. Everyone's just trying to win, and for what it is really fun. One of the concerns I have with the game is how it is played. You see, what you do, the goal of this game is to kill your opponent, but it's not as easy as it would be in Smash Bros. Even though this is probably, what they based the game off of was Smash Brothers, but it's not easy. You gotta constantly be attacking and gaining meter. The only way to kill someone in this game, and I don't know, there might be another way, but as far as my knowledge, in the levels where there's no falling off, the only way to kill someone is to hit them with a super. And basically the whole game just boils down to who gets the most super first and kills the most people. That initially that doesn't sound like a bad idea, but it's the fact that that's the only way to kill people. That's part of my knowledge. And with the characters it's really hard to gain a lot of super. They either need to balance that, or along the line, or just make it a lives thing. Because Sweet Tooth's meter gain is very wonky. He doesn't gain meter fast at all. Or he does. I'm just not using him right. I mean, I've won 2 matches already. I mean, and that's it. So it's not like I too bad of the game. It's just that when you're fighting against the character that everyone is right now, which is Kratos from the God of War series. I haven't been him yet, but I fought against him. Oh God, I fought against him. Who gains meter so fast that if you're not paying attention, he'll get his level 3 before you know it, and he'll wipe the floor with you with the Sword of Olympia. Love that sword. Yeah, I only played God of War 3, and I think I played one of the PSP ones, Chains of Olympus. I'm not sure. The one where you kill that. Well, the one where you kill Atlas, or not kill him, just put Earth on his back. Yeah, well, so far it's not balanced at all. They need to patch Kratos. He's way too strong. Parappa is also really strong, but in the good way. He's a good character. But you see, I want to get a good Sweet Tooth. I like the guy. I've never played a Twisted Metal game, but I really, really enjoy the character. I like his design. Another thing is that there's not a lot of there's not a lot of items, which is kind of which is kind of good, but it's kind of a letdown at the same time. Like in Super Mario Brothers, you've got all these items that you can use. There's even ones that are fairly crappy, but you can still use them. In this game, it doesn't seem like there's a lot. You've got an RPG, you've got some sort of double-edged sword that I don't recognize. You got what I think is a bomb from the Ratchet and Clank series. There's not a lot of items. But let me think. The game, while it is fun, it's also really how do I say this? It's really cruel. Like for starters, like I said, not everyone shares the same amount of meter gain, which really needs to be. If you're gonna base your game, if you're gonna base your game around gaining super meter and using supers to kill the opponent, everyone's meter gain should be balanced. Now I don't know if they actually ran into problems down the road or if it was just maybe in the beta version Sweet Tooth was gaining too much meter. But there's something wrong with the fact that every 5 seconds, if I'm fighting a Kratos, they're using their level 3. Which is already unfair because Kratos himself is a really good character. I haven't seen a lot of good things come from Snap. Sly Cooper. The Slys that I find online, they can do damage and they can get kills, but they can't actually win a match. And part of the reason is, well, they're inexperienced, of course, but I think that Sly needs a proper defense mechanism. That teleport really doesn't help him out. Especially against Kratos. It all boils down to Kratos. He's just way too good. Nerf, please. Anyway, PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale beta. I'm not saying you should be discouraged and don't buy it because it is a lot of fun. and I'm certain that it'll be really good when it comes out. But on the topic of the fact that they want to make this game tournament viable, that's not going to happen. This game will not survive a tournament setting. I don't see where they get it. If it was 1-on-1, I could see that. But they're talking 2-on-2, which, while I can see the potential for that being in a tournament viable thing, it's just not going to survive. I honestly think that Smash Bros. Is more tournament viable than this game. Because, for example, I'll put a link below the video, but there was a tournament recently with the new DC game in Russia. The final four were all flashes, and that's what I think this game is going to be. It's going to be the final four players are all going to be Kratos because he's just way too strong. Granted, this is the beta version, and not all the characters are available. But from what it looks like, he is just way too strong. Another concern I have is that I don't really agree with the way with the Dante they brought in. I'm with the rest of you people on this. I'm not a big fan of the new Dante design at all. Mainly because it's kind of a betrayal. It really is. Back to PlayStation All-Stars. I think it's coming out November 20th, I believe. I'm not entirely sure on that date. I might need to check that again. If you have a PlayStation 3 and you're a very casual gamer, it's definitely buy it. If you're looking for a tournament viable game like Street Fighter 4 and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, no, this is not gonna be a tournament game. This is gonna be a fun to play at someone's house game. This is not gonna be the next big thing when it comes to fighting games. Fun, cruel, abusive. That's this game. This game is the real world, the game. Without the drugs. Well, maybe not. I mean, you gotta. Well, this is Ada Wong number 5 signing off, telling you that it's fun, but it's not gonna be big.